Live from the 5 Eyewitness News Studios, it's your happy hour and a half. Twin Cities Live.
Okay, next, orange, graphic floral, open floor plans. They're home design trends we saw in the 60s and 70s. And you guys, they're back. We're going to sit down with designer Heather Fox to see how to incorporate these trends today. Stick around.
Welcome back. All week, Twin Cities Live has been celebrating the Parade of Homes. 2023 marks 75 years of the tour. And yesterday, we took you inside the very first home on the tour, built back in 1948. It was fun to chat with the owner, the current owner.
All right, well, today we are time traveling into the design world. Fox Homes Realtor and Design Director Heather Fox is here with designs that have made a comeback. Heather, welcome back to the show. It's been a very long time. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Okay, you are like, we're time traveling, and I just love everything about what we're going to talk about.
Ooh, okay.
I love it so much. Okay, we've got the eras, and we're going to show how they're transporting to now.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
What's working today?
Let's start with the 1950s. The average home size was 1,200 square foot, so it's a little bit smaller. But the design trend was like bright colors, pinks. This is how we see it today in homes, though.
Yeah, it was pink. Everything about the 50s was pink. And do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why pink was so popular in the 50s? Because the First Lady loved pink, and she had posted, I mean, there was no posting back then, on Instagram, on her Instagram page. No, in a magazine, there was a photo of her home, and it was all pink, and it just became like this huge trend. So it's crazy to think that even in the 50s, something like that could just like, you know, a photograph could like spark it all.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so in those pictures, we saw a bathroom that looked, well, that's what's coming up next. But in the pink pictures, that's extreme pink, and the other pink bathroom, though, is a little more muted.
It is a little more muted. It kind of mixes some other colors with it, but we are seeing pinks everywhere. We're seeing them, you know, in something as permanent as tile, in countertops, and a lot of different like fibers, textures, even paint. And then there's always the way to bring in pink just with a candle, or, you know, the 50s were all about the cocktails. We have a pink cocktail glass as well.
Oh my gosh, is this a countertop?
It can be. It's a terrazzo tile, but it could also be done as a counter.
That's unique.
Isn't that cool?
So beautiful.
And that's another thing that was really huge in the 50s was terrazzo. And also mid-century modern is another thing that we saw in the 50s and the 60s, carries through so much today. I mean, you hear about it, I'm sure, all the time.
So break down mid-century modern. Like, what does that mean, and how is that, you know, popular still now, coming back?
So it's clean lines. It's a lot of the furniture like you see there, the chair, I mean, an iconic mid-century piece, right? And that was kind of from the 50s to the 60s, but lots of clean lines, wood, dark colors, and again, it just has had this huge resurgence in the 2020s and really the 2000s in general.
I think it's minimalist too.
Yeah.
It looks like there's not a lot of clutter when you have those clean lines, and people are gravitating towards that.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the 60s. So the average home size was 1,500 square feet, and we're talking about graphic floral and oranges. That's all coming back.
Yes.
Look at this. That actually, I love this.
Yeah, isn't orange is kind of fun, right? I think that orange will not come back in the same way that it was in the 60s.
Over the top.
Yeah, but it's like the muted colors and the rust that are really making it come back.
That's beautiful with the natural light in those chairs.
Yeah, and the floral pattern, again, I'm not sure we're seeing quite like the 60s floral, right? But we are seeing a lot of florals, lots of bright colors. I feel like the 60s were just like all about this like fun, poppy, you know, kind of like rebellious design where people were just kind of taking risks, and it was different than the 50s.
So this is wallpaper.
It is wallpaper. Isn't that fun?
Where would you put this floral wallpaper? What room of the house would you do that?
I love this for a half bath or like a wall somewhere. So maybe not the whole room. In a half bath, you could do a whole, but maybe a dining space, or it would be really fun in a kid's room, maybe a hallway. And it doesn't even have to be a huge wall. It's even something like this you could, you know, just do within like a frame, you know, kind of having just a little bit of pattern or behind a bookcase or something like that.
I love this. Maybe I should have been born in the 60s. I am really drawn to this whole motif here.
This one. Well, let's pop to the 70s, the Brady Bunch era.
Yeah, I should have been born in the 70s. Like, this is my jam right here.
This is what you resonate with.
Like, I feel like it's the colors of fall, right? We're entering in fall. Bridget could bring her florals right here, and they could fit right in.
They sure could.
Live harmoniously.
Yeah, all the colors that you're seeing, I think that these colors were obviously huge in the 70s, but we're seeing them come back in a really big way now. Brown was really big in the 70s, and that's something that we're kind of seeing really trend back now, which is interesting because for a while brown was out, and now it really has become a pretty big color in design.
Brown was out, and like white and gray was in, but now we're kind of leaning in towards these warmer tones.
Yeah.
Natural textures, like you mentioned, colors from nature.
Yep.
And also, I was asking about houseplants earlier to Bridget. Houseplants are in. You have all the houseplants. That's okay.
All the houseplants. And that was the trend that started in the 70s. So it was the houseplants, like you talked about the natural textures, like over here, that wallpaper that's grass cloth, and you'll see lots of like rattan and wicker and fiber art, like the macrame, you know, that kind of stuff, which really has come back.
Okay, I love this. All right, I'm really digging this segment. Okay, now we're going to the 1980s. That's my era where I landed in this world. Okay, so the average home size was getting a little bigger. We're talking about a little more square footage, 2,000 square feet. And our design trend is nature and calm is out. Maximalism is in. What does that mean? What is maximalism?
Okay, so when I think of the 80s, I'm also an 80s baby. I think of like MTV and Saved by the Bell and like those logos. And that really is kind of like what the design was then, right? So as you see that wallpaper over there, that to me, that like geometric, those colors, lots of purples, and that's one trend that was then, and we're definitely starting to see come back, is like the lavenders and purple as a color, even in tile.
Really?
I mean, yeah. It's something that we've seen come back in a bigger way, and also blue. Blue is a really big color in the, you know, again, think about those logos, like how everything was kind of moving, and there's all the neon colors, and it kind of has all of those.
I see that wallpaper and I think of my Trapper Keeper.
Yes,
I carried it in like first grade.
It's a good throwback.
I love this, but I also love like these elements here. They're a muted color of the big bold purples and different colors. The like a mustard color. They're a little bit muted, so you can still do that and make it work.
Yeah, and that bold to me, and even that planter there, they're 80s in the way where it was like 80s had the contemporary side that wasn't necessarily my favorite style, but those are kind of like reminiscent of it, right? Like you can see that like contemporary 80s style, but then it's just done in a more modern way. And like you talked about how it's purple, but it's a little bit muted. It's almost like a taupe.
Yeah, okay. Now I just want to redo everything in my home. I want every room to be a different era. Would that be weird?
No, that would be awesome.
And then you could do an Airbnb and it would be super popular.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea. Okay,
Heather,
business.
Thank you so much. Really, really great ideas. And now I'm so inspired.
Okay, well, to see all of these design trends in person at the 2023 Fall Parade of Homes Tour, it's going on right now. And you can tour the homes all across the metro on Thursdays through Sundays from noon until 6 p.m.
The tour runs through October 1st. It is free to attend. Dream homes require a $5 admission, but for more information, just head to TwinCitiesLive.com.